Hello and welcome to the Upper St. Clair Campus News. I'm Megan Zedeker, and here are some announcements from the high school. Congratulations to the district's best Lincoln Douglas debate team. They dominated districts at national qualifiers this weekend. Individual congratulations go out to Ben Goldberger this weekend for making the semifinals, and Roy Fiddy-Acorn will be one of 2 people representing our district at nationals in Kansas City. Good luck at speech qualifiers next week. Our varsity Jets team won a first-place trophy at the competition at Bethany College last week. Members of the team are Helen Shee, Eileen Shee, Hank Lancet, Jean Park, Roy Fiddy-Acorn, Fran Falco, Ben Goldberger, and Andy Raymond. Also participating as our junior varsity candidates were Ed Cheeley, Doug Weekland, Nate Browen, Jane Sung, Mike Dennison, Marshall Kremsky, Carl Schinzel, and Rachel Hines. Congratulations to all the participants. Also, congratulations to the future problem-solving teams as they qualified for the state finals this week. Attention all lifeguards and interested students. The high school will be offering a life-saving first aid and CPR class at the high school the week of April the 4th through the 8th. For more information and to sign up, please go to the pool. The University of Pittsburgh's Greeks and Special Olympics are sponsoring their annual 5K run and 3K walk to benefit area Special Olympics participants. Upper St. Clair students and faculty are invited to register for the event that is scheduled for Saturday, March the 19th at 11 a.m. in Shenley Park. Registration forms and additional information can be found in the activities office. Attention all students, don't forget the Uncommon Commons this Saturday night. There will be a mystery raffle. Come play games, eat, have lots of fun, and maybe get lucky. It's guaranteed to be a great prize as well as a great evening. And let's not forget, congratulations to the girls' Whitfield basketball champions. The Lady Panthers have done it again for the 2nd year in a row. And way to go, boys basketball team, for a great showing in the Whitfield final. Welcome back. Today we are fortunate to have one of Pennsylvania's most talented and praised group of students with us, Upper St. Clair's very own yearbook clairvoyant staff. I would like to introduce Melissa Tungate, right next to me, Editor-in-Chief of this year's Clairvoyant, and Betsy Buser, the Associate Editor-in-Chief of the yearbook. First of all, I would like to say that this is definitely one of Upper St. Clair's hardest working groups of students. The dedication that goes in here, I'm sure, is endless, and I know that all the work is. Certainly all the awards that you have won show that. Why don't you start by telling us how you start this process of getting the staff involved and whatever goes in it as far as picking the students that are in the yearbook?
Well, in about April or May, we have applications for editorship that go out, and students, it's open to all grade levels, and students need to fill out an application, and there are a few essay questions involved asking why you want to be involved in your book, what other activities you have, and then in May we have interviews with the editors-in-chief and Ms. Holman, and where we just meet and talk with the people that have applied after we've gone over their applications, and then we usually announce at the end of May who are the following year's editors. And then we also have staff applications which go out in May, and in the fall, we open it up for new incoming freshmen.
Now, obviously, since the yearbook is such a big production, how do you go about organizing the students?
Well, we divide them into different sections. We have activities, sports, underclass, seniors, faculty, business, index, and photography and copy. And there's usually 2 or 3 editors on each section. And we then give each of those sections staff members to help them, and usually 3 or 4. And then we let the staff members put into order the section they would like to work on. And we usually give them their first or second choice, and it works really well. We had very dedicated staff this year.
It sounds like it. About how many students are involved?
Oh, 40?
We have about 22 editors this year with about 20 or 25 staff members.
Wow. Well, I guess one of the most important words would be when we're talking about the yearbook, all the deadlines that come up. How do you go about dividing everyone into reaching the deadlines?
Well, we have 4 deadlines throughout the year, beginning with the first one in November and the last one at the end of February. And they're divided basically into the sections of the book which Betsy mentioned, with the underclass and the sports and so forth. The color pictures, and the color sections, which Betsy and I did this year, go in on one deadline also.
Okay. Now, you all have to put even more work in since you're the editors, but how does the regular staff get involved? How often do they have the meetings and the deadlines?
Well, we have meetings every Monday and Thursday from the beginning of the year until February. And we even have a meeting before school starts to get the new staff members to know something about yearbook, give them a little introduction. And we meet every Monday and Thursday from after school until usually 5, if we're not too busy, 4 or 5. And during deadlines, we can work from after school until like 9 or 10, so it's really a lot of work.
Now, I'm going to ask you about all your achievements in a minute, but first, for 25 years, you have had the same advisor, Ms. Holman, at the high school, and I understand she's a great help to you.
Really, the book could not be published without her. She's more than just an advisor. She proofs everything that we send in, every spread, every word that goes in to the company. She goes over and proofs and makes sure there aren't any misspelled words and that sort of thing. But she helps in the whole planning and the pictures and from everything. She's really dedicated, and it couldn't be done without her.
Okay. What about all the awards that the St. Clarion has won? It's certainly one of Pennsylvania's finest yearbooks.
Well, our awards for last year, the Columbia Scholastic Press Association is our big contest that we're entered into. It's a nationwide contest, and this year, well, for the 93 book, we received a first place award from them, with also 2 all-Columbian awards for the theme concept and for photography, which is the first time that the Clairvoyants ever won a first place and all-Columbian awards, so we're really happy about that. And we were also nominated for a Crown Award from them. And the Pennsylvania Scholastic Press Association, we also received a first place, and the American Scholastic Press Association, we received a first.
Congratulations. That sounds like a lot of awards to me. Why don't you both give us a little bit of a preview on this year's yearbook?
I don't think so. We're not really supposed to tell anything. It's a big surprise at the end of the year in May, so you'll just have to wait and see.
Okay. Since you're both seniors, why don't you tell us your plans for this year, Melissa?
Well, I'm looking at Purdue and Miami of Ohio, and I'm going to go into some English or journalism. So I haven't quite decided where I'm going yet. But.
And Betsy?
I'll be attending Notre Dame, and not exactly sure what I'll be studying yet, but.
Well, good luck, good luck. In closing, I'd just like to thank you for coming down here and talking to us, and we congratulate you on your success, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing the Clairvoyant this year in May. Thank you.
Thanks.
We're back with Upper St. Clair's High School's most active foreign language club, the German Club, and Frau Baird is here with us, as well as 2 of the officers of the German Club. Frau Baird, you've been an advisor for the German Club for 15 years here at the high school. And how have you gotten the students involved?
Well, we tend to do 1 activity a month, which gets them enrolled real fast. We have officers who plan the majority of the activities, so therefore I think they feel that they have a say in it.
Okay. Now we're here with Kate Moratis, who's president of the German Club this year, and Melanie Katzer, who is the vice president of the German Club. Why don't you tell us about how you start the meetings and get the freshmen and all the students involved?
Well, the meetings begin with all of the officers, are just up in the front of the room, and Kate begins the meeting and discusses all of the major topics that we have for that meeting. Normally it's about the event that we're going to do that month or upcoming events, any new ideas that people have. And we try to interact with all the students so that they also feel like they're a part of the club, especially the freshmen. We always are picking on them, saying, freshmen, any freshmen have any ideas, things like that, just to get them feeling like they're really a part of the club.
Sure. About how many students are involved in this club?
Well, I think it varies. It varies anywhere from 20 to 60, depending on the event. When we start the year off with ice cream, we have like 90. But then if we go caroling, we have like 30. So it runs the gambit.
Okay, you're getting into the activities here. Kate, why don't you tell us what kind of activities the German Club has all year round?
Well, we start the year with a kickoff picnic, and we also have an Oktoberfest at Otto's. We go caroling and have a fondue party at Christmas time. We also have an international dinner with the other foreign language clubs, and we're trying to get a volleyball game started. I think we did one last year as well, and that's about it.
Okay, now, Frau Baird, you've also incorporated a summer, I guess, internship abroad. How have you gone about getting students involved with traveling?
What we've done is we've not always done this through German Club, but we've used some of the kids in German Club as participants, and they have also done the PR for it. We've done ski trips in the springtime, and in the summertime we have an exchange program now. And Kate went on the exchange program with us. What German Club did for the exchange program when it started was that they really got the kids involved with our students. So the Germans, the Americans got together. They had a, I don't know if you want to tell them about the party we had. Remember the party at Kelly Britcher's that really got kids talking to each other and, yeah, right. Maybe you want to elaborate.
Kate, why don't you tell us about this program?
Well, we had an American kind of barbecue at last year's president's house, Kelly Britcher, and it was all the kids from the German Club who were interested, plus the German students and their hosts. And we played volleyball and we ate, and everyone got to know each other, and we made T-shirts with puffy paint, and it was fun. Everyone kind of mingled, and we got to know everybody really well.
Now, you took a trip last summer for, I think, 3 weeks. What'd you see in Germany?
Well, we spent 2 weeks staying with our host family in Leverkusen, which is a small town outside Cologne. And then we spent the last week traveling through Heidelberg, Freiburg, Munich, and some of Switzerland.
Frau Baird, is this going to happen every year?
The exchange is every other year. So this year there has been no exchange, but next year it'll start again.
Okay, and you're planning for more students to do this now? It seems like it's gotten very popular.
Well, there are a maximum of 20 that can participate, and that was what we had this year. Last year we had 20, but it's for students in 9th grade through 12th grade, and they do have to take German because you have to know how to speak some German before you go. So that's helpful.
So there's certainly a lot of interest in there. Melanie, what's left for this year with the club? What all are you going to do?
Well, like Kate said, hopefully we'll be able to get a volleyball game together. I'm not really sure what other events we're going to have for the rest of the year. We had talked about wanting to go see a movie together, possibly Schindler's List, so that we all get a better idea of the German background, I guess, kind of in a way. History, kind of. I'm not really sure what else. And I just wanted to add one thing that some people have a misconception that German Club is only for students who are in German, or only German-speaking students, and that's not true. I know we have a bunch of people who take Spanish who are in German Club. It's really for anybody in the school who wants to get a little taste of German.
All right, well, great. I'm sure everyone's going to be happy to know that. And thank you all for coming down here and talking about the German Club.
Thank you, Megan.
Hi, and welcome back to the Upper St. Clair High School Sports Talk Show. Again, my name is Chris Ferris, and I will be your host today. Today with me to start off, I have a terrific coach with me today. I'm very pleased to have him with me, and I would just like to introduce Coach Joe DiGregorio, the head coach of the Upper St. Clair Panthers for the past 3 years, by saying that he's done a fantastic job over those 3 years. His first season here at Upper St. Clair, he started with a 7-17 record. Now that's his first season. That obviously probably was a transition year for you, Coach.
Yeah, evidently.
But there's a trend forming here, and that's improvement. The next year, which was 1993, you guys turned that around, and you went 18-9. You were co-section champions, tied with Bethel Park. That was the first time, I believe, an Upper St. Clair basketball team has gotten their name onto that.
Well, they had won a section before, Chris, but they had never gone into and won a game in the WPIL, which we were able to do also. And by doing that, we qualified to participate in the PIAA, which we lost to Carrick in overtime last year.
Well, and then, of course, this year, which they are still going strong, and we wish you a lot of luck as you go down into the state tournament. They have compiled a 25-4 record. They were section champs by themselves this year. That is a terrific task. And then you ended up going on to the WPIAL championship game, which unfortunately didn't turn out in your favor, but you are in the state competition, and we wish you a lot of luck with that, and that's something to be very proud of.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now we're battling to see. We're down to the final 8 and the final 4 in Western Pennsylvania, and we've got quite a task ahead of us. 7 o'clock Saturday night up at Grove City College, where we'll be playing Erie Cathedral Prep, who at this point in time is ranked the #1 team in the state of Pennsylvania. And I'm happy to say that Upper St. Clair, as of my son telling me, who lives in York, PA, and he's going to send me the article, that Upper St. Clair is ranked 5th.
Well, congratulations to all of you on that. That's terrific. I'd like to introduce again Coach by saying that he started his coaching career at Converty High School in
Coventry
Connecticut.
High School in Coventry, Connecticut.
And then you moved on for 2 years at Conard High School in West Hartford. Following that, you went to East Stroudsburg State, where you spent several years. Following that, you went on to Niagara University, where you were an assistant coach for 5 years. And then, of course, you went on to be the head coach for 8 seasons at Clarion State University. Mm-hmm. And then following that, finally, with college, you went on to be an assistant under Roy Chipman. And then we got lucky and got you here. And again, this is his 3rd season and has done nothing but improve our program. Coach, you took over a program from former coach Fred Lease, who had a very successful program here at Upper St. Clair. You came in. How did the transition go? How did the kids respond to you, and how did you respond to them?
Well, I thought it was a very positive response. First, I wanted to get back into coaching because I enjoy working with young people. Feel that after 30 years of doing this, I have a lot to offer. And you're correct. I think the program was in good hands under Fred Lease, and he did do a good job. And very similar to my situation when I went to Clarion State, where Ron Galbraith was the head coach, is now the head coach at Westminster College. Both programs were successful, but I think the challenge was to take the program above and beyond where it was. And we've been able to do that. In other words, we've been able to take it into the state WPIL playoffs and into the state tournament, which is something that wasn't done and accomplished in the fashion that these young guys have done it now. We did go through the section championship this year, Chris, undefeated, which I think is a first. We've won more games than any team in the history of the school. The school had never been to the PIA playoffs. We've been there. We're fortunate enough to win a couple of games already. And we got to the final of the Whippeal. And we played an excellent Penn Hills team. And I thought maybe we were a little bit nervous and shaky stepping over there at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, where I had been there often, but certainly the guys that I'm working with hadn't been there. And it showed a little bit, but I'll tell you, Penn Hills is a fine team, and they may go all the way. I mean, they just beat Shaler the other evening and did a tremendous job. So I look for them to do big things in the state tournament.
Coach, what are the chances of meeting Penn Hills again?
Well, all we have to do is get by Erie Cathedral Prep. Now, that will be an easy task since they have one young man who's 6'9", another who's 6'7", another who's 6'4", and they're ranked #1 in the state. So I don't think that's a tall task to ask for our guys. I think, Dan Cimaroli will be guarding the 6'9" fella, and Danny's 6'3". And then we'll have John Cooper probably guarding the 6'7" fellow. And so we give away a lot, but we have a lot to offer too. We have a lot on our plate. Our guys play well together. We pass the basketball to one another. We give it up to one another. They genuinely like each other. And I think that we've hit a little bit of a lull here near the end, Chris. And I think hopefully we're going to come together. Maybe there'll be one more miracle here at Upper St. Clair, and maybe we can get to see our friends at Penn Hills one more time. And that is if they get by our friends from Ringgold.
I wouldn't call this a miracle. I know, no, this isn't meant derogatory to any of your ball players, but when you talk to some people that are not consistent followers of Upper St. Clair basketball, they'll say that St. Clair doesn't have one dominant player, yet they play so good together and as a team, and maybe that is the reason for their success this year.
Well, Chris, the thing is, I've always stressed, You know, I don't want a dominant player. I've never had a player scoring 30 or 40 points a game. I recall being with a young man by the name of Calvin Murphy at Niagara University and being there when he scored 63 points against Syracuse. It was a tremendous individual effort, but we lost the basketball game. I think you have a happier team when you share the basketball, and I'd rather have, and it was the same at Clarion State where we averaged 20 wins a year for 8 consecutive years and won 5 Western Pennsylvania championships, that we always had 3, 4, and sometimes 5 players in double figures. And I think that makes for a very happy team because we share the basketball, and I think that's what it's all about. And teamwork, John Cooper reminds me, I continuously say there's no I in team, but he's always telling me there is a me, you know, so. But that's what we believe in, and teamwork is where it's at, whether it be in business or in athletics, and whether it's football, basketball, volleyball, or baseball. If you don't play as a team, I don't know how you're going to be successful.
Well, we've got to attribute the teamwork to you and your staff, but we do have some fantastic athletes, and I want to congratulate them and give them credit where credit is due.
Don't say they're fantastic. I mean, don't do that. You'll spoil those guys, Chris.
Well, I think everybody deserves to be spoiled once in a while. Coach, I want to bring into your experience as a collegiate coach. You were the assistant coach at Pitt, head coach at Clarion. When you make that transition over here to high school after a couple years, is your approach different to the game at the high school level opposed to the collegiate level?
I think maybe your language has to be a little bit different to a certain degree. But no, I don't, everything's relative. We teach the same things right now that we taught at Clarion State, that we taught at Niagara University. I've had opportunities to visit down at North Carolina with Coach Dean Smith for 4 or 5 days and other college coaches. We all basically do the same thing, and the game is a game of fundamentals. As a matter of fact, as recently as 3 days ago, we went back to some of the fundamentals that we work on because we had gotten away from those things. And at this time of the year, our guys are finding out that maybe it's work. And these young men played approximately 70 basketball games last summer. They've been on a weight training program. We've had open gym. We've been in leagues. We've been to tournaments. But that's what it takes. And there has to be somewhat of a burning desire to be a success. And I'm very proud and very happy to be associated with these guys. They're good people. They work hard. And even in games where I thought sometimes we were overmatched personnel-wise, we've been able to overcome that due to them playing so well together.
I know, kind of in response to what you say about hard work, a couple weeks ago, Coach John Calipari and the University of Massachusetts practiced in our gym here at Upper St. Clair, and we were able to sit in and watch part of their practice, and it seemed as though even a team with such caliber that they have, we're still doing the simple things of agility and basics, and it was neat for somebody like me to see that all I can do is look up to these people.
Well, Chris, I had the good fortune of coaching John Calipari at Clarion State University. He was one of our players. I recruited John out of Moon High School, and you know, everyone coming out of high school wants to go Division I, no matter where it's at. And although I saw John play approximately 10 times, visited his home, tried to influence him to come to Clarion, he decided to go to the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, which isn't exactly Chapel Hill. And he spent a year there, and then gave me a call and decided to come to Clarion. I welcomed him with open arms. He sat out 1 year and then played for me for 2 years. And that's the year I left after his second year. And he actually could have played 1 more year, but decided, since perhaps I was leaving, that he would leave also and get involved with the coaching. And I'm so happy for John. He's done such a great job at UMass. And it was an idea that I had when I talked to him, because they came in to play our friends over at Duquesne, and they were staying until Thursday. They played them on a Sunday. They were going down to play WVU, and I asked him, where are you guys going to practice? He said they hadn't fixed anything up yet, hadn't set anything up. So I said, why don't you come over and practice at our place? And I called our administration and thanked them personally that they said, yes, bring them on over. And they came over, and we had about, I'd say, a couple hundred people there to watch them. And I liked the fact that our players were there, our young players too, our freshmen, to see how hard the UMass players worked. A fellow like Lou Rowe, who they see on national television quite often, to see how hard he works, you know. It makes a big difference when you see from people that are doing it on TV all the time.
It was a great afternoon. I truly enjoyed that too. Coach, I want to get a little more recent. I want to reflect back to the Shaler game at the Palumbo Center when nobody really gave you guys a shot to win that game. With about 12 seconds left on the clock in the game, your ball club was down by 1 point. You called a timeout.
Great coaching move.
I think anybody in the stands would have loved to have been in that huddle when you called that timeout. And I just want to ask you, what did you say in that huddle? What did you tell these guys? And did the product of what you said actually happen, or did they have to go out and improvise a little bit?
Well, the thing is, we work on situations in practice, okay? And hopefully those situations occur in ball games. You don't want to go into a ball game not having covered some of the things that might happen. Now, you can't cover every instance, but you can cover an awful lot of them. Down to 30 seconds to play. We've got the basketball underneath here. What do we do? When do we foul? Who's going to shoot the free throw? But in this instance here, to be perfectly honest, we had set a double screen down low for Ryan Brown to come off, get the ball into Jared, Jared over to Darren Cook, Cook to Brown, and Brown was to shoot the ball. When they had played zone the entire game, we came out and they were man-to-man. We had no timeouts left. And again, the situation was such that Jared knew what to do with the ball. He actually attempted to get the ball to the side that Brownie was coming off of, but it was shut down, so he knew enough. And they, fortunately for us, had Tino Hunter guarding Jared. Tino would have a difficult time guarding me on the open floor. Nevertheless, Jared. So Jared took him to the right, went behind his back, penetrated. The man guarding Justin dropped in. Jared dropped the ball off to Justin, and Justin, believe me, was taking that basketball to the basket, to the hoop. He was either going to get fouled or scored. And he got fouled, and they called the timeout.
If you take a look at the monitor, I think we can run this.
Oh, okay,
So
there it is right there.
Our viewers can take a look at this.
Yeah, that's what we call basic right there, just lining up to get the ball in. Jared receives the ball. He's coming up. You see Cook over to the left. He's breaking out, and Ryan breaks out, but here comes Jared behind his back. Down, you see, he went by Tino, gives it up, and there we go up, and we're getting it. And Tino comes over and blocks it, but it's too late. And they call a block, thank goodness. It probably could have been a charge too, but it was a block, and we got the opportunity. I believe they call a timeout, Chris. And during the timeout, we didn't even discuss the free throws. We were just discussing what we were going to do after and so on. And we tell fellows in practice, we work only 5 minutes each day on free throws, but we tell them, you know, the day will come when you're going to be at that line with a couple of seconds remaining and we're down one and you've got 2 free throws, you've got to want to be there. And we talk about the 3 C's of free throw shooting: concentration, confidence, and courage, because you've got to have courage in front of a crowd like that to step up there in that situation and put them down. And I was happy to see Justin do what he did, because it proved to me that in crunch time we could count on him. Well,
That was a terrific game, a lot of fun to watch. I'm sure afterwards it was a lot of fun to be a part of such a great victory.
Well, Chris, I looked to my left as the horn sounded, and of course the other thing that occurred, they did call another timeout, and they had the ball the full length of the court with approximately 3 or 4 seconds to play.
Maybe we can get that up here. I know we have that clip.
And we told Justin that we want you to get in front of Tino, and he's allowed to run the baseline and jump up and down with the arm, because I always remember many, many years ago the Russians beating us in the Olympics because they didn't put someone on the ball. And we wanted to make sure we had someone on the ball, one of our bigger players. And Justin was fortunate enough to follow Tino and jump up just at the right time, and the ball hit his hand, went up in the air. Then Jared came over and slapped it one more time, and of course the time had run out. And I turned to my left, and I don't know if this has ever happened in the history of Upper St. Clair athletics, but I saw people actually literally going over the scorer's table out onto the center of the court, and to me, that is what it's all about, to get excited.
I was part of that.
I think I saw you flash by on the left.
I leaped that table.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's terrific, and it's a show of emotion, and I know the kids appreciated it, because it was a great victory, and it was done in proper fashion.
Coach, I want to thank you for coming down and spending some time with us. I want to thank you for making Upper St. Clair basketball so exciting this year and in the past and hopefully in the future. And I want to wish you a lot of luck as you go on in the state competition.
Well, a couple Hail Marys and maybe an Our Father would help too come Saturday, believe me.
Well,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
We'll be right back with some athletes of the Upper St. Clair varsity basketball team. Okay, welcome back. With me now, I have the athletes of this great Upper St. Clair basketball team. Starting with my right, I have senior captain Ryan Brown, senior captain Justin Kaler, and senior captain Jeff Hunkley. And to my left, I have senior member Dan Cimaroli and senior member, last but not least, John Cooper. Guys, thank you for coming down. I'd like to start by asking all of you, first of all, in the preseason in any sport, I know with football, I play football and I played football, and with track now, in the preseason, we all kind of get the idea that, or maybe mouth off, of how good we're going to be. We're going to beat everybody. And that's nothing unusual. But how good did you guys really think, and how well did you think that you would compare to your competition this year?
We knew we were going to be good because we were pretty successful over the summer, but I don't think either any of us knew that we were going to be as good as we are now.
When do you think that you realized that you had a shot to do what no other Upper St. Clair team did, and that is go to the WPIAL semifinals and then championships? Did you guys, was there a point when you really thought this is really a realistic thing and we've got this in our grasp, or was that something you knew from day one? Ryan?
I think after the first Baldwin game that we beat them at our place, I think I knew we were going to do better than most people expect us to, and I think that's when I realized that we could do all right.
I felt when we played Ringgold, we didn't play as well as we had in some other games, but we could pull it out even when we didn't play well. And Justin hit the big three to win the game for us, but I just felt if we could win that type of game, we could win anything.
That was skill. I won't call that luck, or should I call it luck?
Luck.
Do you guys have any turning point?
Yeah, I think when we started off, I was a little afraid against Bethel Park because of their size. And once we pulled that off for the first time, then we went on to beat Mount Lebanon, and then we just continued on and went 12 around the section.
Yeah, I think with every section win, we kind of went further and further ahead of the section, to the point where they couldn't really catch up to us. So at the end, we kind of knew that we would go into states and Whitfields and be a pretty successful team.
I know with the soccer kids, I asked them the question, where did their careers begin? You know, as you pass by McLaughlin Run Road, there's Marmion Field, and you see all the little guys playing down there. When did you guys start, and where did it begin for you guys? Ryan?
I think I started playing like second or third grade, and it's mostly because of my dad. And most people know that, like, our family at least is like everybody plays basketball, and I think that he's the one that started me on it, and just from playing a lot.
I started in our neighborhood. We used to always have neighborhood pickup games in 5th grade down the street, and I just liked playing so much. I stayed with it.
Justin, a former goalie for the soccer team, and now playing basketball, so you've been pretty busy, and we're glad to have you on both. Well, we were glad to have you on soccer, but now it's nice that you're part of this squad.
Thanks.
Jeff?
Well, I think I started when all I remember has been playing back in Baker, intramural basketball. And I remember playing that, and then from then on it got a little more serious. And that was where I started, I think.
I played then, and I think that was the point when the big
was
red
a
light
good
came
battle.
up and said, don't play anymore, Chris, spare everybody. But Danny?
I played on my first basketball team in 8th grade for Mr. O'Brien, and before 8th grade, I just played street ball.
Right. John?
I played in recreation over the summer, and then we all ended up playing on traveling pretty much together, and then Danny came in 8th grade. And I've been playing since then, and we've been playing as a team for, it seems like ever, so we've all been playing together for a long time.
Ryan, I want to start with you now. You alluded to this earlier in your last answer, and I asked your sisters this, but you have a very basketball family. Basketball is in your home. Your sisters play. Your younger brother plays. You play. Is this a competitive atmosphere for you, or do you find it to be an atmosphere that is, you know, fun and maybe it helps you?
I think it's a lot of fun. You know, my dad pushes us a lot, and I think that helps during the games. You know, I mean, I was sophomore year. I was always afraid, like coming home after the games, what my dad was going to tell me. You know, he always spazzed at me for whatever I did wrong. I mean, now he doesn't do it as much, and I think that him yelling at me contributed to the fact, like, you know, that I play a lot better than I did, like, in the years past.
He obviously did something right because the trays are falling. I mean, they're falling. Justin, I have to ask you, and maybe we can bring this up on the clock. Shaler, semifinal game this year. Nobody gave you a chance to win this ball game. You guys went into this game, 12 seconds left. You got this great play. Then, 3 seconds on the clock, you're at the foul line. Your squad's down by 1 point. What's going through your head?
I don't know. I was pretty relaxed. Like, I wanted to be able to shoot them. And I went up to the line, and then they called a timeout. And walking into the timeout, I was pretty confident that I'd make them because I'm a pretty decent free throw shooter. And then walking back out to shoot them, Ryan came up to me and said, the 3 C's, like Coach Steve was talking about earlier. And then I just was relaxed on the first one and made it. Then after I made the first one, the second one was real easy.
I know I read something earlier this week on a very nice article Mr. O'Brien wrote on you, and it said that you kept one thing in mind, and that's something the coach has always told you, and that the hoop is the same distance no matter where you play. Was that really going through your head there?
Well, when we first came into the Palumbo Center, it's kind of like the movie Hoosiers when they go in, and I mean, he just wanted to stress the point that it was all the same. Everything was the same. It's just in that big arena.
Well, you made him, and you helped us, all of you, really, with all your combined efforts. But Justin, you sank those 2 free throws, and we won, which was a lot of fun, I'm sure, for you and us as fans. Dan, over the course of the season, it seems as though, you know, even Coach alluded to earlier that you've been matched with a lot of the main offensive weapons of the other team. Sometimes you're outsized. I know even with Dan Fordson and Shaler, there's a little bit of a size difference. What did you do? What do you do to compensate for that?
Well, basically when I play defense against a bigger and stronger guy, he wants me always to front the guy, and it makes it a lot easier because they can't get the ball in the low post, and if they lob in, I'll have Justin on the help side to knock it out. So that makes it a lot easier for me.
Okay. How much, is there an intimidation factor there? Do you find that a lot of your opponents that maybe do have the size advantage come into a game thinking that they're just going to, you know, make you look silly, which they have not done, and maybe you end up surprising these guys?
Probably because like my size and my strength, they probably look at me and it's like, well, he's not too big. And then I just like shut him down.
Well, you've done a great job of that so far. John, Justin alluded to the movie Hoosiers earlier, and I'm going to bring this up because I know a lot of you guys are, you know, this movie is like in you or something. I know it's popular. But when you guys are out on the court and you're playing, you come across as a very well-coached team that has a defined system that you guys follow. I know in the movie Hoosiers, Gene Hackman's the head coach, and he stresses to his players 5 passes before a shot. Does Coach give you guys any ultimatums of something like that, or does he give you pretty much leeway to make judgments on your own?
Well, we run a lot of set plays and that kind of thing, and we run 5 passes all the time. He calls for it, and they call him out from the bench. And we'll run through those passes, and then we just kind of move into like an offense, a motion offense. But every once in a while, we'll come down and he'll call out a play, and we'll run it. And if that play doesn't come together, doesn't formulate, we'll go into whatever we do, back screens and Worm and I inside, and those guys on the outside. And they'll take the outside, and we'll go into the inside. And whatever kind of comes together, we just try to get the ball in the hoop. But they do call plays like that, and we run them pretty well because we go over them all the time in practice.
All right, well, you know, you do them very well because, again, you have a 25-4 record, and you're still going in the PIAA state championship competition, and you've been doing something right to this point, and hopefully it can continue on until we get that final step. Jeff, a vital part of every game that in any basketball game is foul shooting. Justin, he sank his two that were extremely important, and do you guys have a certain amount of time? I know Coach maybe alluded to it earlier, saying 5 minutes, but how much is foul shooting stressed?
He stresses it a lot. I mean, it's important in the game to make your foul shots because, I mean, each one is like you're giving you 2 points. I mean, nobody's covering you. You're shooting from the foul line. It's 10 feet away. You got to put them in. And they're important in the game, and he makes us practice them every day. We go like 2 drills called Heaven and Hell and the Matha. And we do those every day, about 15 minutes, and it's a lot of practice, and you get better.
Okay.
Helps.
I know in that Shaler game you hit 2 big free throws also, and
Well, thank you.
and I know in earlier game, one of you alluded to the Ringgold game earlier this year at home, and I was at the game, and in my personal opinion, I thought foul shooting played a major part of your victory there. I thought you guys really just made the foul shots more than they did, which made you guys win overly. Thanks, Dan. As you look back over your 4 years playing, well, this is your 4th year, but as you look back, any highlights? I'm sure there has to be a highlight, and hopefully there's going to be one more highlight, and that'll be a state championship. But up to this point, what's the highlight of your career? Ryan?
I'd say coming from a 7-17 team sophomore year and then like turning it all the way around this year and then being 25-4 and playing in the Whitfield Championship. That's probably the biggest highlight.
Yeah, probably. No one expected us to do anything this year. Just Upper St. Clair had never been a power before. And then we came out and surprised everyone and went undefeated in our section. And probably the highlight is playing in the championship.
I think the highlight was playing in the championship and just winning the game to get to the championship against Shaler. And winning that game was very exciting. Great win.
My highlight was probably playing with Mark Broadhurst, and playing in the playoffs was probably just as fun because the crowds and all the news cameras were there, and it was just a great time.
Yeah, I'd say the highlight has to be this year finally getting some recognition as a team. Because I can remember for the 3 years other than this one, we'd look in the paper and see everybody else's name, and then now we're seeing some of our own names and the pictures of our team, and it's a lot better to be ranked than to not see yourself at all. So I think the highlight's getting some recognition and making a kind of a name for ourselves that maybe the program can work with once we leave.
Well, you guys definitely have a good nucleus behind you. Jared O'Neill, a junior, Darren Cook, Jeff Hogan, Brad Miller. You've got a good nucleus, and I think that they have probably been able to learn from you guys, and I know that they'll probably maintain the success that you guys have enjoyed this year. Finally, guys, after next year, when next year rolls around next September, what's your plans?
I hope to play college basketball somewhere. I don't know where yet. And, possibly Justin and I could play somewhere, same school even. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I haven't really decided about what college I'm going to go to, but hopefully I'll play somewhere also.
I know you've been accepted at Carnegie Mellon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeff?
I haven't really decided where I want to go, but I know that I want to play soccer in college, and probably not basketball, but soccer is probably where I'll go.
Well, good luck, Jeff.
Thank you.
Danny?
I'll be going to college and majoring, I don't know, and maybe going into bowling or something.
Bowling?
Yes.
Where are you going to do this? Do you know any idea where?
No.
Okay, good luck, Dan. John?
I'm going to Arizona State, and I haven't really heard from any of the scouts to play basketball. So this is pretty much my last year. But I don't know what I'm majoring in, but I'm going to Arizona State.
All right. Guys, good luck to all of you. Good luck down the road in the States. You've provided a lot of excitement for us fans, and I wish you all the luck in your futures. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and we are very fortunate to have with us, to my left, I have Rick Murray and also his wife, Cheryl Murray, and they are coaches at what is now Debbie and Rick's gymnasium for gymnastics. Debbie's unable to be here tonight, but we're very happy to have them. To my right, I have two gymnasts that are from Upper St. Clair High School, and directly to my right, I have Kira Kelly, and then I have Ashley Albert on the far right. And I would just like to start off by saying it's unfortunate that we do not have a gymnastics squad at the high school, and maybe Rick and Cheryl can maybe help us out why that is. But I would like to say that there was at one point, and I know Rick was a part of one of the first gymnastics teams at Upper St. Clair High School, coached by Mr. Les Evans.
Right, exactly.
And I know you were on there sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Right, right.
And
The program started my sophomore year, and that's when I started. They had a women's program for quite a few years before that, and when they had the men's program started, I decided, well, I'd like to try it. It was kind of small at the time, so which is very good for gymnastics too. And I went through 3 years. It was like an exhibition sport my sophomore year, and then it became a sport within the WPIAL, and we became a letter sport and that type of thing my junior year, and competed there, and then continued on and did it in college at West Virginia University. And Cheryl was also a gymnast when she was in high school. She was at McKeesport High School, and she did both high school and club.
Yeah, both of them. But the girls were much bigger in WPIAL than the men were. And they still are, actually.
What's happened to a lot of the gymnastics now is, number one, its liability is a big reason. A lot of the schools don't want the liability that's necessary. Number two, it requires setting up equipment, a full floor of equipment, and taking the equipment down after the practice is done. And it makes it very, very difficult. And with gymnastics, it's a year-round sport. It's just not a 5 or 6 month sport, so you need to really put the time into it, including the summertime and that. And these girls train, they train 12 months a year, and we have in-ground pits at our gym and overhead spotting belts and those things, and you need those things today with the way the sport is. And it's for the safety of the sport, but also for the kids. It makes it a lot easier for them to learn a lot of the skills that they have to do today.
Cheryl, I know with talking to Kira earlier today, she told me that you had an opportunity to try out for the Olympics.
Yeah.
From what I understand, unfortunately, I don't think it went as well as maybe you had hoped. But even to get that far has got to be a thrill in its own right. There's very few people that get that opportunity.
It took a lot of determination and dedication is what it came down to. Because I didn't start gymnastics until I was almost in 9th grade. And I started really late, but by the time I was in 10th grade, I was at nationals. And I didn't try out for the Olympics till I was a freshman in college. So I was older than the most of the women that, tried out. But at that level, it's difficult because the pressure is not so much on yourself, but you're not there for yourself, you're there for your country. And you don't feel that until you get to that level. And that's where I can help these guys, because I know what it takes to get there, and then once you get there, I know what it takes to stay there. And that's where it became more difficult. And that's when I decided I just wanted to do it for the fun of it, and I went AIAW back then. Now it's NCAA, but they've changed that around because AIAW kind of died out. But
with just watching the Winter Olympics come to an end, I think we've all seen how the pressure has got to be tough to handle at that level, and it's just amazing.
Those you don't even imagine what it's like because, people walk around you and the girls are really good and the pressure is really high and the coaches expect so much from you and the judges expect so much from you. And at that level, if you don't have that mental toughness, then you won't make it. So those 6 kids that make it to Olympics are a very, very special group of children. Now these days they're children. The average age is 14 on the women's Olympic team.
What age groups do you guys deal with at Debbie and Rick's?
We actually, our program consists of a preschool program for younger children from the age of 3 to 5, where you learn your motor skills and tying it in with gymnastics, awareness, heights, and all those type of things. Then we have a class program that starts at the age of 5, and generally that'll go up to about age of 12. But we will pick kids out of our class programs to get started on our pre-teams, and our teams generally are from about the age of 8 years old up to, actually we have a girl on our team right now that's 19 years old. So our top level team generally ranges in age from about 13 to 18 years old. And then and we have levels, we have a total of like 6 teams, and you work your way up through the levels until you get to the point that you can do what's required at the next level. And you have to go from, we start at level 4, and you have to go all the way up the ladder, and you have to go through each level till you get to level 10.
I know Kira earlier was saying how that she has the desire to become a level 9, I believe it was, a level 9 gymnast. What determines a level 8 from a level 9?
It's skills and difficulty of skills is what makes the difference. When you're level 8, you're required to throw so many difficulty skills. As you go to level 9, you have to jump up to a higher level of skills. And you must be able to throw those skills in your routines, or you'll start from a very low score and you'll never really reach the score that's necessary to qualify you into the state championships and regional and national championships. So it's really a matter of difficulty level today is what it is.
Do I have to pass a certain test that's maybe judged by you that determines now I'm a level 9? Or does that just come and all of a sudden you work your way into it?
It's actually based on how you do through your competition in the state level, how you do it to qualify to the state level, and then when you get to the state level, that if you can meet those skills and get into that state championship meet, you can progress up to the next level the following year if you can do the difficulty that's required at that next level.
But they do have specific scores. They would like you to score in order to go to that next level.
So there is a goal there, a specific goal type of thing.
Yeah, and those scores come from judges more than from your coaches.
Yeah.
We determine at the younger age, when you're at the lower level in classes and pre-team, when you're ready to move up to that level 4 and then start progressing your way up the ladder on teams.
Cheryl, can you tell me what type of athlete, what it takes to be a good gymnast?
Well, the first thing I look for in classes is their ability physically, you know, their body structure, how strong they are, how quick they are, how well they listen. If they're really focused, even at a young age, you have certain kids that come into classes and you can tell them to change a cartwheel. I want your legs going straight over your head. Well, they'll change it right then and there. Whereas some kids will be in classes for a year and never get that. So I pull those kids out right away and I put them into my, my little programs that lead them up to competition. So that's what I look for at an early age. At an older age, it's discipline, dedication, time management, goal setting. I mean, there's so many things that are involved with gymnasts that it's unbelievable, that they learn not just gymnastics, they learn outside the gym.
Okay. Guys, I want to turn to you now. And Ashley and Kara, I want to ask you, when did it begin for you? When did you start? Young? Were you real little, or is this a fairly new? I mean, from what I've seen of your tapes, you haven't just started. You guys have really done well.
Well, I started at the age of 5 at a YMCA. This is where I was born in Hermitage. And I was fairly little. I can't remember really competing. I can remember getting the congratulations afterwards from my teammates, which really helped me. I can never remember scores from when I was that little. But as I moved up, things start to come back, and I moved to Indiana. And there I did fairly well. And then I came here, and this is where my career has really taken off. WNRIX has taught me basically everything for gymnastics. My basics were horrible whenever I got here. But from there, my skills have really progressed.
That's the same. I started at a different club when I was 5, and my basics were really bad. And then we moved to Upper St. Clair, and I came to WNRIX, and within a year I was on the competing team.
How old were you guys when you started? I didn't catch an age.
I think I was 5, but I took dance classes and stuff before that.
Okay. Okay, were you around that same age, or maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, Ashley, from what I've seen, and Cheryl alluded to it, it takes great strength, it takes agility, it takes mental toughness to do and compete like you guys compete. What do you do to prepare? You know, it's given that you go and you practice with your coaches, probably. Is this a weekly thing or a daily thing?
Yeah, it's pretty daily. We practice 4 days a week, and then we have competitions on the weekends. So I guess it's like a lot managing like school, homework, and practice at the same time. It's hard to like find the balance between them both.
Do you do special weightlifting or special conditioning, running?
Well, we first come into the gym, and we have flexibility and strength, and that takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And then we'll have a good workout whenever the coaches come in. But before that, it's basically our work and what we have to do, and we know we have to get it done because we know what it takes. And then we have a good, strong workout, and at the end, we'll have a little flexibility again. And our workout's about 4 hours a day. So we go about 16 hours a week, not including competition on the weekends.
Okay. I don't know if Mr. Ward can bring up, I guess the floor exercise. I want you guys to take me through this and explain to me a little bit what goes on here. Because when I watch this, I see a lot of flips, I see a lot of jumps, and I think to myself, that's tremendously difficult, but how did you get the courage the first time to do that flip and that twist or what you did? Help me through this here, what we're seeing.
This is myself last year. This is called a double back, and it's in a pike position. And I've done this for about 2 years now. And first time I was scared to death. But you see, before you saw my coach sitting in the corner, and you see him down there and you go your hardest, because you know if you don't, you could get hurt. And you have to have faith in yourself. You do it a lot in workout, and you know what it takes.
Coach, is there anything specific that you do to prepare them to take on a new jump, or as far as the mental preparation of it? For me to do something like that, you're going to have to really twist my arm. I'm not going to just do it.
Absolutely.
Well, this isn't my forte either,
Right,
so to speak.
exactly.
But how do you mentally prepare to do that? I don't even think if you're, when you're first beginning, that isn't natural.
Yeah, what it is you work through progressions of learning things on floor tumbling wise. You learn how to do a round up back handspring, which is the lead up to what she had just done there, and then you learn how to do a back tuck, and you do a lot of repetitions with it. We have a pit in ground at our floor at our gym right by our floor exercise area. The girls can tumble off the floor into this 4-foot deep resin pit. It's like a pole bowling pit, but it's sunk into the ground, so that they can do things and you can land improperly and really you're not going to get yourself injured. But the thing that we feel and find that really is what makes these kids confident in what they do is, number one, we do a lot of spotting to learn the trick. And I may give her a tap on her first flip and catch her on her second flip when she lands to the floor. We're not doing a lot to aid the trick, but we're there. It's a confidence thing, and if she would make a mistake, we're there to hopefully pull her out of the mistake she makes. But to make them able to do this in the competition, such as what Kira just did here, is she's got to do a lot of them every day. And they're in there, as they said, 4 hours a day, and we do a lot of repetition every day, skills and routines both. And it's really what it takes. It's like, I guess it's like a basketball player shooting 100 foul shots a day. It's on the same idea.
Kira, I know you're a senior this year, and what's going to happen after graduation this year? I've gotten the impression that you're going to leave Devy and Rex.
Yes.
And
I wasn't quite sure until this year if I was going to continue with my gymnastics in college. But when my senior year came, I couldn't give it up. There's 4 more years out there for me to learn, and I want to learn. And so the 2 colleges that I am looking at both have a gymnastics team, and I will compete for them.
what colleges?
NC State and Western Michigan.
Good luck.
Thank
Wish
you.
a lot of luck. Ashley, I know it's kind of a little bit down the road for graduation, but do you have any idea? Any feel for what you might do?
Yeah, I think I'll stay with gymnastics, hopefully if I'm healthy until my senior year, and then try to get a scholarship maybe to a school, but I don't know which one.
Good luck to you.
Thanks, Chris.
Coaches, I thank you a lot for coming down and spending some time with us. This is truly a fascinating sport, and I can see the amount of time and work you all put into this. And I wish you a lot of luck in your competitions in the future. I wish both of you a lot of luck in your competitions. And Kara, after high school, I wish you a lot of luck. Thank you. We'll be right back with some things we want to go over in the postseason. Okay, to wrap up this lengthy edition of Sports Talk, I'd just like to congratulate quite a few people here. I mean, there's so much going on and so many people need to be congratulated. First of all, for girls swimming, I've got to congratulate Meryl Homan, who won 2 golds in state competition. And Kendra Kelly, she brought home a silver and a bronze in state competition. And congratulations to Jessica Riston, who was 9th place. And then both girls relay teams placed 7th. That's terrific. Congratulations to all of you on a fantastic season. I'd also like to wish a lot of luck to Tom Bogan, Brian Pardini, and Joe Solomon, our wrestlers. They're going on to state competition. Good luck to all 3 of you. Congratulations to the 1994 WPIAL Girls Champions. You guys finished to beat Penn Hills. Congratulations. A lot of luck in state competition. And finally, and surely but not least, the guys. Good luck in your state competition. Come out and watch these guys. Support them. Support everyone. Thanks for watching, and we hope you'll watch again.